There we go. All right. So I don't even know what to call this. Like I was talking a moment ago, and I was like, you know what? I guess we'll just call it EB's Marathon because that's what we're on right now. And for those who don't know, Ercil, my dad is battling acute myeloid leukemia, right? AML.
AML, that's it.
Yeah. And so we got a long road ahead of us. So can you kind of give us an update for friends, family? There's a lot of people that have been asking about you, and I feel like this is going to be the best way for us to kind of keep people in the loop and let them know what's going on with you. So just kind of give us an update on what's going on with you right now.
Right now, I'm at Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville, Florida. It's getting close to the end. It's getting close to time for the transplant. It's Thursday right now. I'm undergoing chemo every 6 hours, 612, 612. Same thing tomorrow, and 612 on Saturday morning in the Saturday afternoon. Then I'll get a day off, if I think that's right, a day off. And then Sunday will be my day off. And Monday will be a transplant day. I'm not really sure what time, but they'll go in with stem cells through an IV. It's nothing surgical. A lot of people, thinking that it's something surgical or something like that. It's actually not surgical at all. I'll go in with stem cells through an IV. Take about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and that's basically it. From what I've been told, after about 3 days, I'll start to feel it. I'll start kind of like going downhill a little bit. After about 5, maybe 7 days, it'll knock me out completely. So everything from the old Ercil on the inside, as far as cells go, they want to be gone. And I will be basically on the inside, like whoever my donor is, I'll be a completely new person. And so they call it your birthday because it's basically like starting life all over again. So I will be a 55-year-old motherfucking infant. That's the best way. That's the best way I can put it. I will be on some Benjamin Button shit, which is funny. Just to go back a few weeks, me and Melanie watched Benjamin Button about a month ago. She had never seen it, and I ain't gonna lie, we cried like some babies when that shit was over with. But that's why it hit me so hard, because as I'm watching that movie, I'm realizing that's about to be me. That was about to be me. It kind of hit me. It hit me hard. It's not that I'm going to go backwards in age, but yeah, I'm going to be 55 years old, and I'm about to be an infant. All of my immunizations, everything will be gone. So I have to go through all that again.
Right.
As the recovery process takes place, yeah, I'll have to redo everything. So about 6 months in, they've already said, I'll probably do a couple COVID shots. I can't remember what else they said. A year or so from now, which would be like my birthday, the 25th of April next year will be like my first birthday. I will have to, polio, mumps, measles, all of that. And that 25th, that next year will be important because this thing is pretty serious, man. I sat down with my lead doctor last Monday, and he looking me in my eye, and he basically telling me that there's a 30% chance, that this shit might not work, and that I could get sick. I could get, have graft versus host disease, or I don't take the transplant well, or whatever. Any kind of sickness, because I won't have an immune system at all. I won't be able to fight nothing off. So anything like that, is like bad news. And
Right.
he looking me in my eye, telling me, I got a 30% chance, and I'm looking at him in his eye, thinking to myself, well, shit, I got 70, you know. So I'm on the
Right.
good side of
Right.
this, you know. I'm on the
Right.
good side of it. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it, that
Yeah.
I'll be all right. I've been through a lot worse, I feel like. So, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see. But I'm ready. I'm ready to go ahead and get it on and get it over with so I can, start healing up. And that year is also important because if you can make it to that first year, and everybody around here, they call it, like I said, they call it your birthday, make it to your first birthday, then the chances of you surviving jump to like 90%. It's like a 90%
Right.
survival rate that I'll make it to the second year. And as you make it to each year, you know, your chances of surviving get much greater. And 4 or 5 years in, they basically tell you that you're going to pass away, but it ain't going to be nothing leukemia related. So that's basically
Right.
kind of like the goal. You want to make it to that first year, and then from there, you want to try to make it to year two. And it's basically just like anything else. The longer that you live, the better your chances are. And you make it, like say, to about 4 or 5, year 4 or 5, you're good, at least as far as the leukemia. You're going to pass away. We all know we're going to
Absolutely.
pass away. But at that point, I
Right.
won't necessarily have to be walking around here worrying about leukemia is going to come back. It's going to kill me. So that's basically where I'm at right now.
So
I am 3 days away from transplant.
so 3 days away from the bone marrow transplant, and then already today
Yep.
at 6 a.m., noon, 6 p.m., and then again at midnight, you're gonna have another round of chemo.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
How are
Yep.
you? How
And
are
the
you feeling
chemo,
at this time? Like, what do you?
chemo is, I don't know. Chemo is, it's poison, bro. It's basically straight up poison.
Right.
And that's the way it kind of feels in your body. You feel your body changing, your taste buds aren't quite the same. You just, I don't know how to explain it. You just don't feel like yourself. You don't necessarily feel
Right.
terrible either. At least I haven't really felt terrible from it, but you don't feel good. And like I said, it just changes your taste buds and all. And I think it's because it's just straight up poison, but it's a necessary evil in this fight.
Right.
You would think maybe at some point we might be able to find something a little better. But right now in America, chemo and radiation is pretty much it, and I haven't had to do any radiation, knock on wood. But chemo is something else.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because, like, when did you got diagnosed with what? August or September?
September 1st of September, I started feeling bad. I was having problems with my balance and just wasn't feeling right, struggling to get dressed, every common ordinary things that we do every day. And
Right.
yeah, there was even a few days it was like, come on, man, what you got, what you got going on, whatever it is you got going on, you can get through it, you can tough it out. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to tough it out. And I made it through work a few days, and I was like, okay, I'm all right. And I took a few days off for work. I took a whole weekend. I took like a 4-day weekend off. I took a Thursday, Friday, and I had Saturday and Sunday. And I thought by the time Monday rolled around, I was going to be straight. I got dressed for work on Monday, went to work, and by noon, I was feeling bad again. And so at that point, I knew something was going on, but we really didn't have any idea what it was. And it wasn't until, they did COVID tests and all that. I knew I didn't have no damn COVID, but, I did COVID tests. And speaking of COVID tests, I just wanted to be known that, if I'm not up there, I got to be up there around one of the most COVID tested persons in America, because I done had about 30 of them damn COVID tests. And Yeah, and every time they stick that thing up my nose, I'll be wanting to throw some. Yeah, somebody gonna catch these hands one day.
Right. Well, uh,
But
and so
anyway, I
and
started feeling
throughout all this
bad.
process,
Started. Yeah. Even going back, because the year before in September of 2020, I had pneumonia. So
right?
shoot, they
Yeah.
dropped about 10, 12 COVID tests on me just in that 6 weeks or so. So once this hit, they started dropping COVID tests on me again. Every time I looked up, they wanted to give me a COVID test. Every time I come up here, I have to get COVID tested. Every time I have to go be admitted here, I have to get COVID tested. So yeah, I've become a professional at COVID testing. And I'm just give you a little hint here, quick little tip. When you do your COVID test, take a little deep breath, and it's not so bad when they go up in that nose. Something I learned. Something I
I'm laughing.
learned here in the last two. Something I learned here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, like COVID test number 27. On my way to number 30, they gonna tell me, yeah, take a little deep breath, and it actually makes it a little better. But yeah, I went to the
I wish
emergency
I'd known that,
room.
because man, every time they dig
Yeah,
in my
I
brain,
wish I'd have known that too. All them COVID tests I done had, because I'm telling you, bro, that's some evasive. It's some evasive shit. And I know people just doing their job. People just doing their jobs, and they be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, by the time they get to 4, bro, you be about ready to about to be some
you ready to
violence
throw
up
some
in here.
hands in too? Shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
either that, you feel like you drowning. One of the two. You. So, but yeah, on the 13th, I'm off track here. 13th of September, I went to the emergency room in Port Orange, Florida, and they came back and they told me something was wrong with my cells or whatever, blood cells or whatever. And I'm still thinking, this ain't can't be nothing serious. I didn't.
Right.
I didn't really know what to expect.
Oh man. Okay. So hospital connection is not good. We're gonna wait a second and see that he gets back on here. Here we go.
Yeah,
Well,
I really
they got
didn't know
to.
what to expect. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties there.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, two black men trying to do some audio video stuff. You gonna have them problems every now and then. But I went to the hospital on the 13th.
Right.
On the 14th, overnight, I got transferred to the hospital, Advent Health Daytona. Doctor comes in. He starts telling me all these different information. And while he's telling me the information, he dropped the chemo in there, or not the chemo,
Right.
you have
Cancer.
leukemia. Yeah, you have
Right.
leukemia. And then he goes on straight into treatment, which, I appreciate now. I look back today, it's like I appreciate that. But he went straight into treatment. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. You're going to have to undergo this. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, bro. We got to go back to the leukemia part, And he was like, yes, acute myeloid
Right.
leukemia. We'll start with a bone marrow biopsy. And if you're not familiar with that, that's where they go into your like lower back, upper hip with the needle. Yeah, long needle. It ain't nothing fun. I mean, and of course you're numbed out, but still and honestly, I've had 5 of those now. There's some that are good and there's some that are bad, because the last one I had, I didn't feel nothing. I didn't even know she was done. But I've had some where I've actually felt them moving around in there. And what they do is they get, some of your bone marrow out with the needle. And then they have to like break off a little piece of your hip So that's where you feel the pressure. They're pushing, and they're
Right.
basically trying to get a little piece of bone from your hip to break, which is crazy when you think about it. And they pull that out of there, and
Right.
that's all part of the sample. So this last one I had, like I said, I didn't feel any of that. But of the 5 that I've had 3 of them that haven't been fun at all. I had one where they patched me up, and obviously they didn't patch me up real well, because I woke up in the middle of the night in the hospital, and I was bleeding out. I had, my bed was covered in blood, and
Right.
I was about to pass out. They were like, stick with us, Mr. Burton, blah blah blah, because I'm just about out. And I was laying in and I thought I was I felt wet, but I didn't realize anything. But yeah, I was laying in a pool of blood. So that bone marrow biopsy ain't really no fun, but that's how they can get in there and tell what your cells look like. And that's when they were able to come back and really confirm that, that my cells had basically become, the leukemia. And what that does is that your cells are multiplying at like crazy numbers, but they're multiplying unhealthy cells,
Right.
So instead of having a healthy cells, you got the leukemia cells that are multiplying in your body, and just not a good thing. So that's kind of where we got.
Absolutely.
That was on September 14th. I stayed in the hospital that whole time. I stayed at Advent in Daytona, where I was admitted for about 9-10 days. About 9-10 days. I was actually discharged and got to go home for a day because, and this is for you people that think COVID is a joke, and you can take this however you want to take it. There were so many COVID patients in the hospital back in September that me as a cancer patient, I couldn't get a bed at Mayo Clinic.
Damn.
Because of the COVID patients, the flu, something that's minor, something that we ain't got to worry about.
Right.
But it seems to me that when people get it, everybody and their mama trying to go to the hospital to get treated for it, So
Facts.
y'all take that however you want to take it, But anyway, so what I had to do is they had to check me out of the hospital, and I had to come up to Mayo on my own as an outpatient appointment, and it was already set up ahead of time. My doctor knew some doctors up here, and they had already pulled some strings that when I came up as an outpatient, they weren't going to let me leave that day till I got admitted. So there's no telling how long I would have stayed in Daytona waiting on a bed had they not cooked up this scheme to get me seen up here at Mayo as an outpatient, which actually got me in a lot quicker. As a matter of fact, it got me in later that afternoon. I had an outpatient appointment about 8, and about 1 o'clock that afternoon, I got the text. Me and Melanie were kind of waiting in the lobby, and we got the text that they had a bed for us. So I appreciate them, doing that for me. But I'm sure there were a lot of people that went through the same thing that I went through. They couldn't get admitted because there were so many COVID patients, And that's not really what they're here for, but that's what they had to do at that time. That was kind of like their duty was to see these people that had, COVID,
Right.
So, yeah. So I got admitted. I don't know when that was, September. It was towards the end of September, 25th, maybe, something like that. And I was here for about 35 days at Mayo. I had ran fevers, was just really sick there at the beginning. And about 9-10 days in, they finally gave me some induction chemo, which was a 24/7 pretty much operation, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. 23 and a half at least, maybe long enough for them just to change the bag out and get you going. And that's kind of similar to what the transplant's going to be, is because it knocks out all of your cells, basically knocks you down to nothing, you know. And at that point,
Right.
they kind of want to see what's going to come back, what kind of cells are going to come back. And of course, it was the leukemia, but it gives you time. You get kind of for your platelets to recover, things like that, and all that stuff is basically what keeps you from bleeding, keeps you keeps your blood from clotting up. So, and that's why when I had the bone marrow transplant and I bled real bad, it's because my numbers were so low, my counts were so low, is that my blood wouldn't clot, which makes it pretty much impossible to stop bleeding, you know. So these are all kind of like side effects to that, you know. Breathing, it kind of affects your breathing, you know, kind of affects your lungs. So
Right.
that was pretty much it. And then at that point, that's when they told me that I needed to transplant. And when you first hear you need a transplant, oh shit, I'm finna die. You know, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
This shit
Right.
here is no game. This game, this ain't no joke here. This ain't no game. You know, time is up. Time is expired. You know, and then they kind of break down what takes place with a transplant. And I'm just like everybody else. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm gonna have to have surgery. And you know, you hear stories about cancer and surgery, and when they open you up, and people are just never the same. And so my mind kind of ran through all of that, and then they kind of break it down to you, and they let you know that it's actually not a surgery. You know, you have to find, somebody that's a match. Hopefully, a 10 out of 10. In my case, it's a 9 out of 10. They can work around that. You know, they feel confident that they can work around that, and that shouldn't be a problem. And that is not a surgery. It's basically just kind of like it's like getting the IV. It's basically just kind of like getting the IV, a pint of blood, or getting some saline solution or whatever. And at that point, it was just trying to find a match. And so this was November, and at the time they were pretty confident that by the time January rolled around, that they would be able to find a match. And but in the meantime, I was going to have to do chemo every month, and it was called Consolidation chemo, where you do 3 days at a time. You do it's like 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours, and you do it every 12 hours. So kind of like I'm doing the 6 and 12 now, you would do like a 6 and 6 or 12 and 12 or something like that. And they want to do that no more than 4 times, because each time you do it, it knocks you down a little bit more, makes you a little bit more weaker. It's kind of like when you and Jordan came to visit in December. I had just finished the second round, you know.
Right.
And generally 7 to 10 days after a round of chemo, you're going to need transfusions. You know, your platelets are going to drop, your hemoglobin, your red blood cells, all that is going to drop. And that's kind of like what's keeping you going, you know. So they do the transfusions, which I had never had a transfusion in my life. And now I've had, I don't know how many of them I've had. I've lost count of how many of them I've had, because that's what brings your numbers back up and kind of gets you back to the point to where you can function again, you know. And throughout this time, I didn't really feel terrible. I tell people that I was about 50, maybe 60%. You don't feel bad, or at least I didn't feel bad, but I didn't feel real good either, you know.
Right.
And things like getting dressed, you know, just rough on you, takes your energy away, you know.
Right.
And I kind of struggle with that, you know, because I want to be on the go. I want to be doing things. I want to be able to work out. There was a few times there where I was able to work out, and then it got to the point to where I wasn't even able to work out again, you know. And so it's kind of like you're living, but you aren't really totally enjoying life, you know. And that's kind of where I've been the last 7 months or so. Living, but not really totally enjoying life. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I want to go ahead and get through this transplant
That was
and start recovering from it so I can get back to living and enjoying life, you know, enjoying the things. I don't know. It's been tough.
like when Jordan and I were out there for Christmas. You know, it's funny because like seeing you, you didn't look any different. You know, I imagine that you would have lost some weight and been thinner, and you know, you didn't look any different. The only thing I ever noticed, there was times where you just looked tired, like you just looked
Yeah.
sleepy sometimes, right? And I'd
And that's
ask
basically
you
it.
how you
It
feeling.
tires you out, you know. Yeah, it tires you out. It does. It tires you out more than anything. That's probably it, you know. Because as far as eating, you know, I've kind of pretty much for the most part still had my appetite, you know.
Oh
And
yeah, you
the
still
only
got your
time I really
appetite.
lost
That's
any
the deal.
significant, only time I really lost any significant weight, only time I really lost any
Shit.
significant weight is when right after I went through the, or actually right before and leading up to the induction chemo. I lost about 18, 19 pounds during that time. But other than that, you know, once I got back home, I was back to eating and, you know, and it's just I don't know, I don't know. It's just strange being at home, like it's just being at home every day, like doing nothing, you know, and you kind of feel like you're a bum, but you're actually sick, you know.
Right.
But it's weird because you're sick, but you don't really feel like really bad, you know. Like you said, you just don't have any energy to do the things that you normally would do. And that's why I say putting shoes and socks on, you know, will wear you out with this, you know, especially after you've had chemo or whatever, undergone chemo. So, yeah, man, I'm just ready to hit this transplant and see what the next year holds for me, you know.
Absolutely. Well, I'm obviously there's a lot of people. Again, I get messages all the time. People praying for you. People asking about you. So that's why you know the whole process. The whole point of doing this just kind of weekly. And I loved when we talked about this whole idea. You said even on the days you feel like shit, you said I still want to do it. I still want to you know just kind of show people
Yeah.
the reality of it, the reality of what you're going through, and that in itself is admirable. You know.
Yeah, because next week I probably won't feel as good as I feel right now. 2 weeks from now, I'll probably really be bad, you know. But that's the time that I need to talk the most, I think, because I need people to see that you got things going on in your life, and some of the things that some of us got going on in our life we think is important, or is just all life ending, or all about, you know what I'm saying? People just blow things out of proportion. And when you finally run into something serious, you'd be like, oh, that's something I really need to be worried about, right? You know what I'm saying? People sitting around here worrying about this dude won't call me or this girl won't, you know, that stuff there ain't nothing, you know. And I know it's people on this floor. I'm not gonna say in this world, or you know, or in on this floor that I'm on in the hospital, the third floor here at the Mayo Clinic. I know it's people on this floor that are probably in a lot worse shape than I am, you know, and it's probably some that might be in better shape than I am. But that's just the reality of it, you know.
Yeah, and I love that you make that point because that's the thing I find myself daily, and I said this and I made a post a few weeks ago and I was saying I get inspiration from you because every time I talk to you, for everything that you're going through, you still cracking jokes. You still like, you're still you. And more than anything, you've been even more positive than before. And I love that, I love that spirit. And that's the shit that, like, when I think about anything that I'm experiencing or going through in life, I immediately like, the hell, like with what Ercil's going through, I ain't got no reason to be complaining or bitching or upset or feeling bad for myself. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know.
And
That's
I feel the same way
dope.
after going through this. After going through this, I know that it's just so much. It's so much to life, and life has so much to offer you. And like I say, we just get caught up in the little bullshit problems or whatever. So yeah, when I get through this, man, it's just so much I want to do with my life. So many places I want to go. I need to jump out the plane with you. We need to go do the skydiving thing.
We're gonna do that.
Yeah, I talked to
We're gonna do
Jordan.
that.
Jordan be talking about his coaching career, and I need to be on the bench when Jordan is a head coach for the first time at the college level. I feel like I need to be there, the assistant to the assistant to the motherfucking man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I need to be there.
Hell yeah.
Me and my wife, we have so many things that we need to do, places we want to travel, things we want to go, places we want to go. One day, maybe we'll have some grandchildren, just all of that, all of that. And it's like, I can't wait to live this chapter of my life. I feel like my life has come in chapters, and I've had a lot of negative stuff in my life. Most of it self-imposed, but this time, I didn't volunteer for this one. This one just kind of fell in my lap,
Right.
So.
Right. No, yeah. We're gonna do all that. All of that will definitely fucking happen. That's yeah. But so what during all this, like what's the thing that's like keeping you in that positive space, or what are you doing to occupy your time? Are you able to like get up, walk around, you work out a little bit, you watching TV, you watching Netflix and shit?
I mean,
what are you doing?
I get up and walk around. I spend a lot of time with my parents. That's something that I've been grateful for. I've been able to spend a lot of time with my parents where normally I would be at work, So I try to get over there 2-3 times a week and just hang out with them, and just talking to them and just having the conversations with them is a trip, It's a good time. We talk about some crazy stuff, and I've been able to do the same, with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, Me and Melanie have been able to talk about a lot of things, and I've just had a lot of time on my hands, really,
Right.
And but I've also had to be very careful about where I go, because I can't really just rip and run and go here and go there and hang out with these people. And it's not because I don't want to hang out with them, but my immune system is low, and something like COVID, something like the flu, something like that, could be a death sentence for me. So I've had to kind of like lay low, and
Right.
and honestly, I've kind of enjoyed it, because I feel like when I'm able to come back, I'm coming back with a vengeance. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming back full force. I got a lot of people I need to clown. I ain't seen them in a while. I mean, I just feel like I'm full of life, and I'm having to hold it in right now. You know what I'm saying? I can't really live that life that I want to live. I can't do those things that I really want to do. And so I'm kind of I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to going back to work, man. People be talking about how they want to sit at home and wish they didn't have to work. Shit. Ain't hitting on nothing, It really ain't.
Right.
It ain't hitting on nothing, So yeah, I'm looking forward to all that. I'm looking forward to going back to work. I miss my fellow employees, I miss, being able to talk trash to them, and that's me. That's what I do.
Right.
I complain. I complain. I'm not making enough money. You know what I'm saying? The usual stuff. But I enjoy my job, man. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy my job. I enjoy going to do my job. You know, and I'm just looking forward to all of that. And there's so many people, like I said, that I haven't been able to see. I haven't been able to travel. I just like to get on the road and go. I got to get back to Memphis. I got to see. I got some people in Memphis that's getting older. That I just haven't seen in a while, and I feel like I need to see them. I feel like it's important that I go see them. Uh, I got a cousin in Memphis owns his own limousine. Shit, I'm trying to go down there so I can ride in the limousine. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
mean, how many people can say that they got a cousin got a limousine? You know what I'm saying? And not
Right. Right.
many. So yeah, I'm trying to get down there to Memphis so I can ride in that damn limousine.
Wait,
And
who
see
got a
what that's
limousine?
like.
Carol?
Yeah. Nah, Mike, Duck's son.
Mike got a limousine.
You know my
You
uncle
got a
Duck,
limousine?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mike then grew
Yeah.
up. He balling. He doing the thing. He living life, bro. And I see him. He
Damn.
always talking about let's travel, let's do this, let's go to Vegas. And I feel like that's what life is about. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's what it's all
Absolutely.
about. But yeah, Plute and Carol and Regina and all them. I need to get down there and see them. I need to see Duck. You know,
Ca-
all them people. You know.
Carol posted in the
So yeah.
comments. You put Memphis with some blue hearts. She's
Yeah,
tuning in right
that's
now.
the
So
plan. That's the plan. I got to get back to Memphis. I know they're crazy down there, but hey, they're my peoples. You know, and I love them. So
well,
yeah, and hopefully I can. And
you need to work
hopefully,
on.
if the plan goes like it was supposed to go before all this happened, Joplin to be right afterwards. Be able to come through Joplin
Right.
again, and because it's funny, I talk a lot of shit about Joplin, but I lived in Joplin for almost 19 years. 19 years. And that's the longest I done lived anywhere because I've been a little bit everywhere,
Right.
from Memphis to San Diego to Denver, Denver to Tulsa, Tulsa to Joplin, Joplin to Orlando, Orlando to Daytona, Daytona to Port Orange, Port Orange to New
Daytona.
Smyrna, where I live now. Been a lot of different places, but Joplin is actually the place where I live the longest, you know. And so
Wow.
yeah, I need to get
Yeah.
back to Memphis, or get back to Joplin, you know, see your mother, see Jeff, Deborah. Deborah been going through some things herself, and
Yeah.
and while everybody's been praying for me, I've been sending them right back to her, So it's good to see that she's doing well, and I want to, I want to be the next one in that boat. I want to be.
Yeah. So for people that are like, I know sometimes people are kind of weird about, they think somebody's in the hospital. They're like, oh, I don't want to bother them or whatever. Are you cool with people like shooting you text, shooting you a message, giving you a call, or hitting you up on Facebook and stuff? Are you good with that or?
Yeah. It depends on who it is.
Keeping it real.
Cause
He
some,
said,
yeah,
depends on who.
some of y'all be faking, man. And I ain't got time for this
Yeah,
shit. You know what I'm saying?
right.
It's got to be the
You ain't
real.
never
You know
liked
what I'm
me. Don't
saying?
start liking me right
But
now.
nah, no.
Yeah,
In
right.
all seriousness, yeah. If somebody reach out to me, I'm definitely gonna hit them back. If I don't take that call at that moment. And my wife does a good
Right.
job of reaching out to people because there are times where I just don't really want to be bothered. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, eventually,
Absolutely.
if you hit me up, I will definitely make it a point to get back with you. Jordan, Jordan
Right.
just sent a text talking about it depends on who it is.
Yeah, bruh. I know Carol over here laughing over there too, but no,
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. People
oh
you ain't heard from, and then all of a sudden something
man,
happened, and they want to act like that they just your ace boon coon. No, no, you ain't. You ain't. But
yeah, right.
and that
Don't
might
wait
sound
till now
bad
to
coming from
start
me in
trying
the
to hit
situation that
me
I'm
up.
in. But that if there's one thing I have learned about this is that keeping it real is definitely keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody got no time for no faking.
Right.
Ain't nobody got no time to be. And I see, and I have seen some of the stuff y'all post on social media, so I already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I know who on the team
Yeah,
and who ain't on the team. Let's
right.
put it that way.
Facts. Facts. Yeah. Um.
My wife over here
he said,
laughing.
he said, no, hey, you know what though? We do got to give a big
Yeah,
shout out to Melanie because Melanie's been the fucking MVP, like being by your side throughout all this, and like obviously,
yeah, Melanie.
Jordan
Yeah,
coaching and being everywhere, me being out here in Oregon. Everybody
yeah,
we're away from you, so big shout out to Melanie and major love for
yeah. She
playing that
here. She
role, man,
here
and
for
being there every
everything,
step of the
bro.
way.
Everything. She'd be
Yeah,
like, "Well, I really need to go. Yeah, well, go ahead and do it." But she's here. She's here.
right.
And yeah, it's hard to find a person like that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sick or
Well,
not
and
sick, it's hard to find somebody that's down like that. So yeah,
yeah, and
Melanie is
then
definitely,
she
you said it
created
right. She is
recently.
definitely the MVP.
She'd been keeping Jordan and I in the loop with a text thread, just keeping us in the loop. And then recently she created one with my mom on it also. And
Yep,
can't even
yep,
say how much that meant to my mom for her to include her in on that. You know what I'm saying? And that
yeah,
again just goes to show you her character, man. And that's so
yeah,
dope.
yeah. She lets, and she know, and that's the thing. She know who the real is. So
Right,
she's reached out, and that's not to say that there aren't other people that maybe she should you reach out to, but there's only so much time in the day, and when you're dealing with this, you know what I'm saying.
facts.
So
Right,
yeah, there So she's reached out to the most important people, the people that need to know the most. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
And I appreciate that. I really do.
Right. And hopefully, with this, just doing these like weekly updates, it takes a little bit of pressure off her. People can actually see you. They can, hear you. Because for me, that's always the most comforting when I can see you, when I can hear you. We video chat and we do the
Yeah.
FaceTime thing. Because that always makes me feel better to be able to see you as opposed to just texting with you and shit. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But I don't want, I don't want to be. Yeah, we'll keep these weekly updates and things going. Um, I gotta ask you about the playoffs though. NBA playoffs. Who you got? It's early.
Shit, the Lakers.
Shit. You better wish in one hand and shit in the other.
Shit, the Lakers. Who they playing? Shit, whoever they playing, the Lakers. Shit.
uh,
Nah, I'm sorry, ass
that's
dude,
wild.
man. Yeah.
Uh,
It's hard to say, man. Phoenix is gonna be hard to beat. That Devin Booker injury could,
that's
that could
huge.
that could that could change some things. I think they'll be able to handle New Orleans without him. Uh, the Bulls
Carol said
beat
the Grizz.
Milwaukee last night.
They
Yeah, I'm
did.
getting there. I'm getting there. I
Yeah.
definitely like the Grizz. I just think the Grizz are young. I don't think it's their time yet. But who knows, because that's one thing this season has shown us is that it's not been like the typical NBA season. It really hasn't, especially when
Right.
you got a team like the
Right.
Nets that are the eighth seed. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, or the seventh seed.
Seven
You
seed.
don't
Yeah.
really know what's going to happen. But I don't know. Right now, I still kind of like Milwaukee maybe in the East. And I'm tell you who I really like. I like Miami. I feel like Miami don't get enough respect because
They're
Miami is
gritty.
just
They're gritty.
yeah, it's just one of them. Yeah, it's just one of them team full of goons that you would if you could pick a team you could play for in the NBA, it'd be like shoot, I want to roll in Miami. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely don't want to play
Yeah.
against them. That's for sure.
Nah, nah, and they they had their little falling out or whatever, but I feel like that happens with good teams. I feel like good teams, maybe not necessarily public like that, but hey, them dudes is all tough. They got some veterans, and so I don't know. It's hard for me to put a champ right now, but I'm gonna say that Chris Paul finds a way to get it done finally this year. I
I
think
would
it's his
I would
time.
love to see Chris Paul get one. Doug Forbes said the Sixers. Doug said he got the Sixers going.
No, I
They up
ain't with
3-0.
two.
Hey, they
I
doing the
ain't with.
thing though.
Nah, I ain't with 3-time step back James and your
Yeah. Oh
boy.
man.
What your boy Country Wayne? I was watching that video a few weeks back.
Uh,
When Kobe retired a few years back, and Country Wayne had the video. He said, I can't roll with James Harden because I don't know what's in his beard."
Oh shit.
And I don't,
Yeah.
and you know what I like? The Sixers are cool. They got that nice little 1-2 punch. I just don't think they got enough coming off the bench. I don't think they got enough depth. That's the other thing with some of these teams. Some of these teams don't really have, and I know in the playoffs, guys play major minutes, but sometimes you got to have them dudes off the bench come through. For years, the Spurs. That's how the Spurs won. They had Manu, and they had them dudes coming off the bench that could just hoop. And there's really not a whole lot of teams out there
Right.
now that just kind of like have that guy that's gonna come in and just like get buckets off the bench for you. So
Right. I
I don't know.
speaking of though, I think going back to what Carol said, the Grizzlies are probably the deepest team. They go the
Yeah,
deepest in
they
terms
are.
of bringing dudes off the bench.
They are. They are. I just don't think they quite ready yet.
No, they
And maybe
no, I
they'll
don't
prove
either.
to us. Maybe they'll prove to us that whole pecking order thing doesn't exist anymore. Because in the NBA, it's been about the pecking order. You know what I'm saying? You had to wait your turn, and maybe the Grizzlies are that team to be like,
Right.
we ain't waiting for no turn. We finna take it. Because they are
Right.
solid. They solid across the board. And the thing with them that is tough for anybody else to say is that without Ja, their best player, they actually they play a little better without him, sometimes. So I don't think they want to
Right.
miss him for a long stretch. But if he were to miss, 1 or 2, 3 games in the playoffs, I think they have that confidence that they can go out and win without him.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Well, lastly, before I let you off the hook, I gotta ask you, did you see that Mike Tyson video on the plane?
I did not see the Mike Tyson video. You told me about
I'm
it.
gonna
He
tell you right
punched
now,
dude.
they gotta quit fucking with Mike. Huh? They had this
You
dude,
said he
so
punched the dude.
he's antagonizing Mike. He's acting a fool, and then this
Uh
dude's
huh.
recording. He's like, my boy's
Which is
chopping it up with
crazy in
Mike.
itself because why would you want to antagonize Mike Tyson of all people?
A quick paycheck because they know if they set him off, he hits them. It's a lawsuit, a quick
Yeah,
paycheck, being silly,
yeah.
and that's
And Mike is
and I
so
think
chill. That's
shit
what's
like
so
that, like
bad
people,
about it though. Mike is so chill and so nice to everybody.
yes,
Yeah, he whatever he got,
he
he needed to get.
right before that he was talking to the dude about taking shrooms and stuff and ayahuasca and all that. Like he was cool with him, but then the dude just kept. You could see there's several different videos, and the dude's getting more animated and all hovering over him and shit. And then there's the last video, and Mike's
Hmm.
just sticking his ass. And then you see him, he's got blood on his forehead and all that, and it was goofy, man. But Dave Chappelle went to the Chappelle show last night in Portland.
Yeah. How was
And
that? That was cool.
Dave Chappelle, man, he said, man, that motherfucker is a genius, bro. Like, and so he brought Ashley Larry, Donnell Rawlings was there.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Ross, who's like the roast master. It
Yeah.
was an incredible show. Oh,
Yeah.
Donnell
Jeff
Rawlings was there.
You said Jeff Ross was there?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Ross
was there.
When we went to go see him too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same crew, but he did I think this is a different bit than the one you saw because his whole shit stemmed around Chris and Will. You know, he usually has like 3 stories that he's intertwining, you know? But he talked about Chris Rock and Will Smith, and he said, man, he said, I'm friends with both of them. He said, I'm better friends with Chris Rock. He's like, but I am friends with both of them. And he said, I'm not going to lie to you. He said, I feel like Chris Rock and Will Smith. He said, I feel like Will Smith because I'm one comment away from punching a motherfucker in the mouth for disrespecting me. And he was talking about just, people trying to cancel him and all that shit. And he's like, I'm like Will Smith because I'm one bad comment, one bad day away from punching a motherfucker in the mouth. And then he said, but I'm also like Chris Rock where I'm getting slapped constantly. And he's like, but I'm having to maintain my composure. And he was talking about, he's like, the world that we're at today, he's like, I know, he's like, I'm not suicidal. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not going crazy. He's like, but I know we're in a weird place because he's like, I watched a man in San Francisco take a shit in the middle of the street. And all I did was stepped over it like it was nothing, you know? But that dude's analogies and shit on life are so dope, man. He's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, that Will Smith thing, man. The best the thing I took from it was that a light-skinned black man walked up on stage and slapped the shit out of a dark-skinned black man, and people been saying for years, you know, that would never happen. And all I'm saying is, light-skinned brothers is coming back now. Y'all better be careful.
You stupid.
Y'all better be careful. That wouldn't have happened 10, 20 years ago, you know. But yeah, that was it actually was kind of bad all the way around, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
And Will laughed at the joke. That's been my biggest problem with it, is that Will was cool with it, and then Jada gave that old side eye, you know.
Right.
So I don't know, man, you know.
Such a weird scenario. But you know what? I honestly
that's a weird family. There's some weird people, period. End of story.
Yeah. I'll say this. The fact that Will and Chappelle hit that last night, he was saying for 30 years or however long, he's like, Will Smith he's lived the life of like a perfect human being. And he's like, for the first time, we saw Will not be perfect. And he's like, and actually, he's like, I like this niggerish version of Will. That's what Chappelle said. And I was dying because I feel that same way, man. So many people walk around and you see it all the time on social media. People live this facade and they post their highlight reel and they act like everything's all wonderful. But in all actuality, everybody's got some shit going on. Everybody's got problems. Nobody's fucking perfect. Not even Will Smith.
They handle it different, and I'm with you on that. You know.
Yeah,
I'm
totally. I didn't mind seeing Will be human for once. But yeah, well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We still got people like everybody's commenting and stuff. There's you can't see it because you're on your phone, but a lot of people on here saying they're praying for you and they're laughing at your shit.
Appreciate it. Tell everybody. Yeah, tell everybody, man. I said what's up, and I love them, and it's weird because life, you meet so many different people, bro. I met so many different people in so many different places, and it's kind of like if you spent some time with me and I spent some time with you, just know that that was real, that was genuine. You know what I'm saying? Whatever took place that night, we might have ended up throwing blows at each other or whatever, but whatever took place that night or whatever time that we had where we were close and we were kicking it, just know that that was genuine. You know, and I got love for so many people out there, and like I said, just enjoy life, man. Enjoy each other. All this pettiness that we got going on in the world right now, man. You know, we got to do it. We got to do away with that, bro. You know, we got to do away with that because I don't know. It's just a trip, and I'm gonna leave it right there where it is.
Hell yeah.
But just know, like I said, if we've spent some time together, that it was real, it was genuine. You know, regardless of how we may have met or whatever took place, you know, and and hopefully some of y'all, you know, I'll see again as this time goes on, you know, because
Absolutely.
I'm definitely planning on being here another 30, 35 years or so. I am not finna be the one where they said, well, you know, Ercil, oh yeah, man, he passed away from leukemia. I'm not trying to have that happen. I survived the cocaine gang. I survived all kind of stuff. Been shot at by police. Been beat up. Been in car wrecks. And I ain't finna. I just feel like that
Right.
this is not the way that I'm supposed to go out. You know. So I plan on being
Right.
here. And yeah, like I say, I love y'all. I appreciate everybody that's reaching out and that's commenting. Y'all fall in
Absolutely.
that
But
group. Yep. Y'all fall in that group that I wasn't talking about earlier.
hell yeah. Nah, man, anybody that knows you, obviously we know you best, and you're a fighter, and I know like this your story's still being written. So that's why we're gonna keep doing this. We'll do this again next week. And like you said, I know as the weeks go on, your condition's gonna change, and that's part of the process. But
Yep.
I can't wait to look back and watch these videos, and we just kind of laugh and be like, damn, we were in the thick of it at that time, but we got through it because you're definitely
Yep.
gonna get through it. So
Yep.
love you, and
For sure. Love you too.
yeah, I'll be talking to you again. So Monday's the transplant, right?
Monday's a transplant. Yep.
Monday's the transplant.
By the
So
time next Thursday
all
rolls
right,
around, I'm not really
well,
sure how I'm gonna feel because I've heard different stories. You know, some people say it'll be 7 to 10 days. I'll start feeling bad. You know, the lead nurse said about 5 days, but I know that at some point I'm gonna start feeling bad. It may not necessarily be next Thursday. I'm thinking it might be more like the following Thursday. But
right,
I'll still be here. I'll still be talking. You know,
hell
it don't
yeah,
take a
hell
whole lot of it don't take a whole lot of energy to run my mouth. So
yeah.
so yeah.
All right, all right. Well, love you, and we'll sign off and do this again next week.
All right. Love you too. Peace, everyone.